Well, welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. Now that we've got our hugs out of the way, I'm cueing the recording now. All right. So welcome to Lake Superior Interfaith Community Church. My name is Sue Brewer. I'm one of the Board of Trustees members and the secretary, and I welcome you all to our service. For those of you who are here and for those of you on Zoom land and for those of you who will be seeing it on YouTube in the future. At this point, I'd like to give a small invocation. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, for bringing us all together. As we come together, we open our hearts in gratitude for the space, for the opportunity for friendship, and for our connection to spirit. And with this, we say, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, all right. And now our statement of intent very quickly here. We are fortunate to have a variety of speakers for Sunday services. By using guest speakers, we gain wisdom from all those who share. This is a church where we can worship the God of our own understanding, a place to experience joy and be uplifted, a place where we can gain strength and inspiration to share with all we meet throughout the week. We invite you to join us in this celebration of life, to nourish your spirit and to enjoy the company of kindred souls. And bless you. And with that, let's stand up and sing our opening hymn, Let There Be Peace. The words are on the white card if you need them. All right. Oh, welcome, welcome. Thank you so very much. Now, at this point in time, we are going to not sing a hymn. We are going to move right into what we're going to do today. And with that, oh, yes, I'm going to turn this over to Carolyn. She's going to introduce our speakers for today, and she's going to have some announcements for us.
Thank you for driving through the snow, all of us, and being here safe. Thank you for Marky, who's already shoveled or swept the walk 3-4 times, who's off to his family for his 13-year-old nephew's birthday. And we are making special prayers right now, each of us, as you wish, in our hearts for his safe travels. He asked for that, and we give it to him. And now I have the privilege that I thought about for about 2 years to welcome Kate and Bill to our service. And back when I was on the Board of Trustees for 2 years as a capital T trustee, I would think about them. And I know the family a little bit because of John, Bill's brother. And I met him back in '82 at the birth of their nephew, Peter. Your nephew, yeah, and he, an adopted nephew, yeah. And it was my very first opportunity to do a Reiki session. I had just received Reiki. And somebody said there's a little baby that just came in from the East Coast and doesn't want to come out, and it's very late. And we heard you do this thing, and please, would you want to try it? And pretty soon Peter came. So it was my first session. And so it's a very special family to me. And now I get to welcome you on a snow day. And we're going to listen with all of our hearts. And they are really many years now, singer-songwriters in Duluth. You can tell us when you get here how long. And the first time I really gathered what was going on was I heard Kate's song on the radio about meeting this guy. That was my first introduction to the fact that Bill was even singing. So that's another special little story, piece for me with you. And then Kate and I have enjoyed meeting each other a few times. And so I am delighted to have them here with us. And maybe it won't even be the last time. We'll just see. And so thank you for coming in this place and time. And then for a couple of announcements, it's something the board is still in process with, is working on our new principles. We had a marvelous conversation last week in lunchtime about, and a little bit here, for how you, the community, want to now add to and address and give the board to think about for as we proceed in this process that has been many, many years by many boards felt that we needed to address our principles. And so this board is taking it on. And so I want you all to know that we listened, we made notes, and we're in process. So you'll be hearing more from this. Our meeting is, our monthly meeting is in the middle of this month. And then something else that we're working on how to talk about is the fact that for this last quarter, and really the quarter before that, really kind of the quarter before that of our financial life, we're not quite making it into the black. We know we have shrunk, and we know the principle that sometimes things have to break down to break through and be born again. We feel like we're choosing that one. So it's happening, but I do want to plant the seed of joy and gratitude as we think about how our potential process and all the signs are that we're growing. And so we can be grateful and joyful in our hearts as we seek to see more growth in our people and in our coffers. And think of it kind of like I do anyway, as a monthly sustainer, like we have on public radio. We need a few more monthly sustainers from all of us. So let's just see how that message circulates in our own hearts. And then the last thing is we're adding a third gathering. We have a tea and conversation draft gathering on Monday mornings, 10:30. And that is first and third. We have a Monday evening gathering for the Unity Book Group, and that's every week at 6 to 7:30. And now we're about to add drumming. And so we're happy about that. I, like many of us, wanted drumming to come back. And so we're expecting that. And pretty soon we're going to have more. So that's that. And with that, I want to turn us, the last thing, to the 3 affirmations that I landed in my mind. I wrote them down. I didn't even realize what I was writing down. And I mentioned it to Denise at one moment, and she said, those are really good. And I said, oh, let's look at these. Oh, they're 3 affirmations. So we now say it. So we stand, please. And we're going to repeat after me. We're going to say it 2 times in this. I'll say it. And it is, joyful teamwork is our way. Joyful teamwork is our way. Listening kindly is our path. Listening kindly is our path. We are in renewal together. We are in renewal together. Thank you all for being here.
All right, I've brought up the healing bowl. If you haven't already done so, with paper and pen or pencil, you may put an intention into our healing bowl. And we will be praying over these people and over the names and the reasons why these people need healing throughout the service. But at this point, does anybody have any prayer requests? Okay, Jean's sister Elaine just started chemo and radiation. Oh, let's pray for her highest good on that one. Yes, exactly. Are there any other prayer requests? Mother Earth. Oh, and the tornado victims down south. What, got hit with a second wave and now they're going to get hit with more? Yes. Yes. There's one online. Hold on. Mary McPherson needs our prayers for a bone marrow transplant. Barbara With has asked her to pray, asked us to pray for her friend Mary McCord. Oh, one more. Continued healing for successful surgery for Laura Whitney. She had some surgery on Thursday. I'd forgotten about that. With all the snow coming down, it just melts my brain. So all the healing prayers in the world for everyone who needs them right now. And at this point, I want to say a quick little prayer over the bowl and for us to ponder. Creator, we ask your healing blessing for all the offered names today. As their highest self wishes, may they receive the best healing for themselves and be raised up in God's love and light. Repeat this as often as needed. And thank you. And now we'll take a moment of silence. And at this time, I'd like you to grab the white card. This was brought up last week that we need to continue to use this because of its power. And I'd like to read the prayer for spiritual healing because as well as we know that all the names in the bowl are intentions, we all need healing in certain ways too. So we each need a little bit of healing for everything here. So let's say the prayer for spiritual healing. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstacles from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask the great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and power of God. So at this point, let's read our principles, the proposed principles. Yet no, we haven't made any changes since last Sunday. It should be on a piece of paper in your there are 7. So if you want to have one that says 5, you got the wrong list. Okay, so God is the eternal source and creator of all and is present in everything. Our eternal soul, endowed with free will, grows through many lifetimes. Communication occurs between the physical and spiritual worlds. Prayer and meditation second our connection to God. Because we are all one, What we do unto others, we do unto ourselves. The love or choice of love is always open for every soul. Knowing these principles can guide us to grow in divine love. We must live them. Yay. And with that, I am going to invite Kate and Bill to come up and give us what you've got today for us.
We thank you so much for having us. It's really nice to be here. So.
I start sneezing all of a sudden. Allergic to snow? No, I've lasted this long. So this is a big year for me. It was 30 years ago, this June 4th, that I had a big life-changing experience. I was under a lot of stress in those months before that. Had this pending sense of doom. And I was out running right in the neighborhood here, actually. So I lived at 26th and 6th, and I was running through the neighborhood, and I had this just feeling of pain in my chest, and I was thinking about just jogging right on down to the hospital. But I went home and it went away. And then a couple of days later, it came back when I was at work. And I just thought that was a strange thing, and I never felt it. And I went home and laid on the couch. My heart was pounding, and I was just feeling awful. And I heard a voice, and the voice said, "You don't want to be one of those guys who won't go in, do you?" That's actually word for word what I heard. I got up off the couch and I told my daughter, because I had a friend, Bob Segalio, who died laying on the couch about the same age. And so I got up and I told my daughter, who was almost 12 years old, she was washing the dishes. She had just gotten home from school, last day of school. And the first warning sign I had was she went to show me her report card, and I didn't want to look at it. I said, I got to go lay down. And normally I'd go over the report card with her. And so I drove myself down like this, holding my chest, driving down 3rd Street, and I drove into I went to the emergency room. I thought, well, no, I better park in the parking lot. So I went over and parked in the parking lot. And then I walked into the hospital holding my chest. I remember the shirt I was wearing precisely. And the triage nurse jumped up and he says, "What's the matter?" I said, "I'm having chest pains." He goes, "Follow me, take off your shirt." So I remember taking off that shirt, walking down the hall, and they put me in the heart room on the table. And then the doctor came in stinking of gin. And no, that's a Beatles song. So he came in and he says, "Well, they'd give me nitro under my tongue, and they put me on the EKG thing." And he came in and then they'd given me my second nitro. So I got there at 4:20. And at 4:25, I got my second nitro. And I was about to get my third nitro when the doctor said to me, "Well, you're 41 years old, same age as me. You're a runner, you're thin, you eat healthy, you don't drink much, and you don't smoke. It's probably not a heart attack. And your EKG looks normal. But I think we want to keep you overnight just to see what's going on." And then he said, "Does it hurt to the touch anywhere?" And I thought, well, let me check. I haven't done that. And I was like, "No, but I feel really dizzy." And I passed out. I had enough time to say, "I feel really dizzy," and I was gone. And I woke up at 20 minutes to 5. Clock was right there, so I know all this stuff, and I have some evidence as well. And the doctor said, "Boy, you really surprised us." And I said, "How so?" And he goes, "Well, we were talking and you went into cardiac arrest." And I said, wow, I knew it was something big because of how everything was transpiring. And also I had this I had this dream, really good dream that I didn't want to wake up from, but I don't remember the details. And people say, you must remember something. Was there another voice or a light or something? I said, I may have heard, behold the power of cheese, but not sure. So anyway, I laid on the gurney and they had this mask on my face and I laid there thinking, I just died. I just died. And I didn't get back to it. I didn't get back to being creative. I just thought I would someday. And I made a pledge that if I survived this, whatever it was, that I would do something creative with my life again. I never thought it would be music. I never knew. I thought maybe screenwriting or something like that. But because I didn't have a guitar, I'd sold my guitar that my dad bought me when I was 19 years old, and didn't have a guitar. And so I started writing again. A couple of years later, it took me a couple of years. I had a lot of stuff going on in my life I had to sort through. And so I started writing again. I used to go down to the shore of Lake Superior, down by where the Lake Superior Garden Center used to be. There was a little path you could go down through the woods and sit on the rocks. That's where that condo unit is now. I can't remember the name of it. Beacon Point. And I used to sit down there and be by myself and write. And I'd write poems and things, stories, and that was about 95, 96, 97. I started getting, I got a guitar in 98, started playing again. And I started converting some of my poems to music. And this was one that actually, this is a song that came from a poem that I wrote on the rock. It's called, this is called Wilderness Lady. And in that poem, the poem is called The Rock. And the very last part of the poem talks about sitting on the shore of a large body of water, looking out at the empty horizon and seeing, not seeing anything, just the horizon, but then picking up a scent, an odor that was coming over the horizon, giving me evidence of something that's over there, an island. And so I thought, that's where I need to go, and I need to find my creative space. And I'm getting whiffs of it, so I have to find that place. And so I'm calling that place the Island of the Wilderness Lady, or the Muse. And that's how this song came to be. Well, I left my home with a heavy heart, from troubles dark and weighty, but the sweetest scent drifted across the sea from the land of the wilderness lady. As I set my sail, a headwind raged. It stressed my vessel greatly, but in times of calm, I closed my eyes and I dreamed of my wilderness lady.
Will you find me here among the trees in my forest, cool and shady? Will you dance with me beneath this canopy? I will be your wilderness lady.
Drop my anchor down in a crystal bay. I thank the stars that led me. Then I swam ashore and I journeyed on to find my wilderness lady.
If you find me here among the trees in my forest, cool and shady, will you laugh with me beneath this canopy? I will be your will.
as nightfall came, I set up camp by a brook where it cascaded into the fragrant valley down below. Fill the cup of my wilderness lady.
When you find me here among the trees in my forest, cool and shady, will you lay with me beneath this canopy? I will be your wilderness lady.
In the early dawn, I heard her voice in that space between dreams and waking. Will you stay with me beneath this canopy? I will be your wilderness lady. Will you stay with me beneath this canopy? I will be your wilderness lady.
Thank you. You'll be all right, really. You want that tea?
Thank you. No, I would like that water. So we would have been here earlier, but we got caught behind a Subaru driver. I've been making Subaru jokes because Kate, sells Subarus, and she works at Miller Hill Subaru. And was that a commercial break? Oh, I didn't mean to be. No, that's just our life has changed so dramatically in the last 3 years. It's unbelievable. There's a few things we still do that we used to do, but everything's quite different. And we used to tour a lot. We used to drive 50,000 miles a year and do about 160 shows all over the country. And it just that's probably most people haven't heard about us here because we didn't play here that much. It's just some summer shows. And but no, we love being here, and we love Duluth. I was born here. Kate was born in Nebraska.
Yeah. A lot of familiar faces here, so it's fun to, our town's pretty small, really, when you think about it.
We met at I put out my first album in 2001, and Kate heard me on KUMD and came out to the CD release show, and that's where we met. And so we live in Lakeside. She was already living there, and actually I was living in Lakeside before that too. And but we got married in 2004, and we live on our house on Oneida Street, and done a lot of work on it. And it's a beautiful place. We love being there, and love being in Duluth. And we love going for walks in our neighborhood. We're not far from Hawk Ridge. As a crow flies, and they do fly there. We've seen them. And a lot of times when you say as a crow flies, there's no crows there at all. But in our neighborhood, we got them. It's legit. So old fences.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were out for a walk once, and there was this old picket fence down on like around 59th and Oneida, right where Oneida and Otsego come together, and it was really cool old picket fence, all beat up, broken, pieces falling down, a couple of sections laying there, and trees were growing up between the slats. And I said, I love those old fences when they've fallen into a state of disrepair like that. And she did too. And then we were doing a concert up in the somewhere over by Fertile.
Mhm.
And we were staying at a friend's cabin, and they had a stone wall along their road going into the cabin. And I thought, I love those stone walls. When I was a little kid, we lived on Waverly Avenue over here, and we had the Freiburger Hill back behind us, and that was our playground. And we had the Tisher Creek going through with the stone bridge that's on the Freiburger property. And it was just those fond memories of those textures of my childhood. And so I sat at their cabin the next morning and got this song going. And it's a song about, there's two parts of this. Each verse has a first half, which is about something. And then the second half, which is also about that, but from a different point of view. It's really about things that last. I like old fences where they've fallen into disrepair. A few slats missing and the wood is weathered bare.
Old fences bring to me a sense of time, of history, stretched between the posts of faded memories.
Nothing lasts forever. It'll all fall down like wood and stone and metal, returning to the ground. Oh, nothing lasts forever, except the finest kind, like the joy I feel when you're on my mind. I like those old stone walls built along a woodland road. Cracks and moss growing up and down each side.
I like those stone walls too, an iron gate to let us through, down a path into a world that's out of view.
Nothing lasts forever. It'll all fall down like wood and stone and metal, returning to the ground. Oh, nothing lasts forever, except the finest kind, like the joy I feel when you're on my mind. Walls and fences all about. They keep it in and they keep it out. They'll let you know how life has been. Sometimes they're best for straddling.
Built by kids and cattle kings with twisted wire and secret things. Safety lies behind the line. What's yours is yours, and mine is mine.
Nothing lasts forever. It'll all fall down like wood and stone and metal, returning to the ground. Oh, nothing lasts forever, except the finest kind, like the joy I feel when you're on my mind. There's a joy I feel when you're on my mind.
Thank you.
You guys want to sing a song? At the beginning of the pandemic, a group of people led by Timothy Sodengroves decided to do a compilation video from home. Everybody was home. So they decided to pick a song and everybody would do like half a verse or a line or part of the chorus and play the instruments on it too. And we submitted this next song to the group for consideration. And it was getting down to the point where the voting was taking place. There were quite a few people, about 20 different artists. And then we found out that Kate gets a vote and I get a vote. We each get a vote. So we won by one vote. So I called Timothy. I said, can't you just get me one vote? So we did this song and it was really fun. It was it's a sing-along song anyway. And we wrote this song and we recorded it on our 2011 album. It's called Floodwaters. And we had a banjo player and singer from Pittsburgh who sang with us on the album and played the banjo. And she was the choir director at a UU church in Pittsburgh, at First Unitarian. And I think that's what it's called. And but it was really cool. But we didn't know this, but she taught it to her choir and they sang it for several years. And then we found out about that right before we were going to Pittsburgh to play for their concert series. So some of the choir members came and sang along with us, and it was really fun. It was like, remember how cold it was today in here before we started? It was completely the opposite in there. It was about 100 degrees when we started. It was so hot. It was like,
So this is a sing along, as we were mentioning, and it starts with the chorus. So once you learn it, it's really easy to catch on. So
yeah.
it's
So,
called-
and I want to mention one more little thing here. After 35 years, I bought that guitar back. That's the guitar my dad bought me when I was 19. And the guy, when I sold it, I didn't want to sell it, but I needed the money, and I had 4 kids. And I told the guy, I said, I'll sell it. He approached me about buying it. I said, well, I'll sell it to you, but only on the condition, and I'll sell it to you for what I bought it for, which they gain value. And I said, but you have to promise me you will never sell it to somebody else. You know, that has to come back to me if you're going to sell it. And I ran into him after 30 years and he didn't want to sell it. But after 4 years, he ran into me at Sir Ben's and he said, hey, do you still want to get your Martin back? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And so I paid triple what I sold it to him for, but it was worth 6 times what I sold it to him for. Yeah. So I can't, I'm so happy to have Kate playing that guitar. It's just kind of a full circle redemption for me. Oh, I got to get my capo on here. And how are we doing for time? We got 2 more songs we figured. Yeah. Okay. And hello, everybody out there watching on streaming. Kate and I started doing streaming shows as soon as we got back from Florida when our winter gig was canceled down there during COVID. And we started doing, and we did 100 streaming shows. The first year we did them every week, and then we missed a few, and then we ended up with 100 over 3 years. And so thank you for your thumbs ups and your little hearts that are going up like that. And that's thank you. Oh, this is Zoom though. Can you do that on Zoom too? Okay, good. Yeah. That's good. Oh yeah, pick. I do need a pick. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Don't go down by the bridge. Stay up high on the ridge. Don't let those floodwaters carry you away. There's a song you used to sing before you lost everything. Don't let those floodwaters take your song away. You've been torn from your home on the high ground all alone, watching as the waters rise, as the tears fall from your eyes. Don't go down by the bridge, stay up high on the ridge. Don't let those floodwaters carry you away. There's a song you used to sing before you lost everything. Don't let those floodwaters take your song away. Memories you kept in frames, things you thought would never change. Your morning watch was never said, now it's washed along the riverbed. Don't go down by the bridge, stay up high on the ridge. Don't let those floodwaters carry you away. There's a song you used to sing before you lost everything. Don't let those floodwaters take your song away. Yes, there's a song you used to sing, sweet Redeemer, rescuer. Lift your head and sing it now. The sun is breaking through the clouds. Don't go down by the bridge, stay up high on the ridge. Don't let those floodwaters carry you away. There's a song you used to sing before take your song away. Don't let those flood waters take your song away.
Thank you. What's that?
We taught it to you.
We did. Well, to some of you, yes. Yeah. Yeah, we started over the chorus. Thanks, Kate mentioned that.
Oh, well.
So we're going to wrap it up with this song. My grandfather, August Isles, Ilse in the old German, used to work for the DWP Railroad, where he was a night foreman in the roundhouse in Virginia. And I learned that he used to sneak the hobos in at night and let them sleep indoors on those cold Minnesota nights, which start on August 1st every year. And they last till right around the 31st of July. And but he could have gotten fired for doing that. It was very much against the railroad rules to help the hobos. And actually early on in the teens, in the 20s, because of the child labor laws, which were needed, but all these kids lost their jobs all at one time, and they are all working in factories, and families had 4 or 5 kids, and 3 or 4 of them were working in factories, and the parents were working, they're trying to make a living, and all of a sudden they lose all that income. And so there was a lot of them hit the rails because there was no interstate highway system or any way of getting around except for rail. So they would hop the rails and go to other places and look for work, hopefully to raise enough money to send back home and help the parents and help the household. And it was a really, it was probably a really good thing in many ways because it taught a really good, strong work ethic. And they did a survey of hobos in Chicago during that time. They had a hobo redemption center, and where the hobos could come in, they could get a clean set of clothes, they'd go through a delousing shower, and they'd end up with a bunk for the night. And then in the morning, they'd apply for a job. But before they applied for a job, they would have to fill out a survey. And interesting that they came up with that idea that the average age, based on their responses, the average age that they left home was 14. That's the average age of 50,000 hobos. And so he had sympathy. A lot of people did. A lot of people fed them from the backs of their house, back of the house, back porch, and they did that as well. And they only lived a mile from they lived up on the north side of Virginia, right by the hospital, where the Alcott Park is. And then he'd walk down past the cemetery and go down to work, which was over by the Sawmill Saloon in Virginia. That's when the rail yards are still there, but the roundhouse is gone. And so I wrote this song, and after I heard that story, and it just kind of took off for us. It's been recorded by 9 other groups, including Monroe Crossing, the great bluegrass band, who's coming to the West Theater in May. And they said it's their most requested song, and still is after they recorded it like 6 or 7 years ago. And Hollywood actor Ronnie Cox recorded it. He's been in like 100 films and TV shows. And so it's just interesting how because I never pitched it to anybody, just word of mouth. I decided not to spend my life on trying to make my music well known. And I just thought I'm just going to do it so I connect with the people in the audience and online. And so that's the background of this story. And I knew him, but not very well. I was 5 years old when he died of lung cancer. Here I am coughing at the same time. And but he worked with all that diesel smoke and everything, and and probably coal early on. And but he was a prankster, and the whole family's been a lot of fun, as you know. Yeah. And so here's we'll wrap it up with this one. Thank you for having us. You guys have a great spirit here, and you've made us feel very, very welcome. We appreciate that. And I was going to mention too, I think all these songs are on our set list for July, right? Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So we've been invited. This is a huge thing for me because it's something I've always dreamed of and never thought it would happen. we got invited by the Duluth Symphony to do a concert of our music with 4 to 8 of their members backing us. And so we'll start in May, and they'll be writing the scores for the accompaniment of the songs. I said it right. And so it's July 15th at the Depot Theater. And so I'm just over the top about it. It's like, it's what I've always, this is my mind, what I've always envisioned. I've worked with a lot of different, really, really world-class string players on recording and a little bit on touring, but to have a group like this and actually write out the scores, you know, most of the people we play with play improvisationally. And so it's a huge thrill for us. And July 15th, don't miss it. And it's free. It's funded by grants. So it's going to be, they're going to have a pay as you want kind of a thing at the door. And so see you there. Well, here's Hobos in the Roundhouse. And if you know this chorus, sing along. If you don't know it, just be quiet. I mentioned to Carolyn, I've had an ulnar nerve problem this winter, and I didn't have any feeling in my hand over here for about 2 months, and it's getting better now, but I still have to check to see if I'm hitting that top string. So hopefully I'll get it all fixed up by July. From 7 to 7 every night of the week, fixing trains in the roundhouse, I work on my feet. And I told my children, I hope the bed bugs don't bite. I got hobos sleeping in the roundhouse tonight. From Akron and Hinckley, Prairie du Chien, they are soldiers and lawyers, and I believe what they're saying. And I'll rouse them at 4 and they'll head down the line. My hobo's sleeping in the roundhouse tonight. Good night, my hobos, rest your vagabond heads on your old knapsack pillows in your gunny sack beds. For a few stolen hours, you'll be all right. My hobo's sleeping in the roundhouse tonight. Well, they hired a new man to work as a guard. Every morning at sunrise, he checks out the yard. But for now, I won't trust him, though he seems pretty nice. 'Cause I got hobos sleeping in the roundhouse tonight. Good night, my hobos, rest your vagabond heads on your old knapsack pillows in your gunny sack beds. For a few stolen hours, you'll be all right. My hobo's sleeping in the roundhouse tonight. Well, I asked my Savior, what should I do if I'm caught helping hobos? A job could be through. And I heard the answer so clear and so bright. Are my hobos sleeping in your roundhouse tonight? Good night, my hobos. Rest your vagabond heads on your old knapsack pillows in your gunny sack bed. For a few stolen hours, you'll be all right. My hobo's sleeping in the roundhouse tonight. For a few stolen hours, you'll be all right. My hobo's sleeping in the roundhouse tonight. Good night, boys.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much for your stories. And I had no idea that the hobo song was your story. Wow. How many of you have heard that song before? Yeah. And did you know it was the real deal? I thought you made it up.
I did.
Well done.
Based on a true incident.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you want to. Oh, so yes. So at this point, I'd like to offer. Oh, yes. I want to offer, get our offering going. And while we're thinking about if somebody could grab a basket back there and grab our donations, that would be great. And then while we're doing that, don't forget that Bill and Kate have CDs downstairs for us to peruse. So if you'd like to bring home some of that music that just opened my heart and melted me away, because I recognized some of the places you were talking about. Born and raised here, I know exactly what you were talking about. So yeah, so bring a little music home with you tonight. Yeah. Go ahead. Right. Jerry, would you like to come and bless us our offering? Nice short, sweet blessing here.
Oh, the universe of God's creation, everything out there, the stars, the sun, the moon, the creation within each of us comes from our heart and spirit. And listening today to this music has expanded our spiritual awareness. And so with light, compassion, love, peace, and joy, we are the happiest as we can be with all together in the family of light and love and blessings. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Woo. Thank you, Jerry. All right. So at this point, let's stand up, and on your little white cards, we have the church affirmation. So let's say the church affirmation together. We totally accept the belief that God is in charge of the affairs and direction of Lake Superior Interfaith Community Church. We know that as our thoughts of trust and joyful anticipation join in harmony with all the thoughts of all the members of this fellowship, we are attract the right ministerial leadership to our spiritual community. And what are we? We are grateful. Woo! All right, let's get in our circle, folks. Thank you, Steve. All right. You all folks have a little prayer or anything you'd like to say for closing? Oh, there we go.
I will.
Okay.
Yeah. Blessed be divine light shining on us and the green grass coming under our feet as spring arrives in April. We are grateful to be here together. Thank you so much. Blessed be all, every.
All right, Carol. God be with you till we meet